Okay, today is February the 10th. This is DB's Apiary. I'm Danny Brewer. This is hive number 6 for me. This has a deep brood chamber and a medium. We can call that a honey super. They put honey in it last year, and I think I had another medium on here they'd put honey in, but they went into winter with that medium on there full of honey, and I just left it. So they're using the bottom deep brood chamber, and on the front here I've got some cardboard, that plastic cardboard for sale sign stuff to just block the wind, and I got a little hole cut in it, and behind that I've got a window screen also to keep the mice out. I got a telescoping top on here though, and what I'm getting ready to do is see if I need to give these bees some sugar, because it's February the 10th. It's been up to 64 degrees today. The wind's blowing a little bit off and on. And they've been out working, but I've been giving them jars of sugar water 1-to-1, and they've went through about 18 jars in the last month. Every time I can catch it warm, I put them out here. So I'm hoping this hive's doing okay, but I can already tell you I pulled the top off, and I know the bees are up at the top, and that means they've ate through all their honey reserves, and they're up at the top and they're out of food. So I'm going to pull this lid off. This is a telescoping lid. And you can see there's bees on it. I hope you can see that. Now, I don't want to knock these bees off on the ground because it's so cold. It's in the 60s that they might not be able to get back in here. Now, I'm going to try to do this without using any smoke. Hopefully they won't get too mad. I see something else I don't like either. So this is my inner cover. I'm going to pull it off. And I think I'm seeing mold growing on this inner cover. The bees are all over the top of the hive. There's bees right here, and the bees are all over the top of this. And from what I've learned, this tells me that they're hungry. So what I'm going to do, before I start shaking any bees off and making anybody really mad, I'm going to go ahead and get me an extension that I built out of 2x4s, and I'm going to put it on here. All that's doing is allowing me a little spacing to put my sugar in here. Got me a piece of newspaper. I'm going to wet down this piece of newspaper a little bit just so it won't blow off. That's probably too much. I'm going to try to pick up some of these pine needles here since I don't have my brush. Well, I really don't want to do that. See if I can get some of these gals out of the way. Come on, y'all. I'm just going to go ahead and bulldoze them out of the way and get down to like 4 or 5. Put this newspaper on there. Hopefully they won't be too aggravated about that. I'm going to grab this other piece of newspaper. Try to maybe put it in another place where there's not so many bees. Now I wish I would have lit a smoker just to get them off the top. But I'm going to go ahead and go forth with this, because as I lay it down there, they're crawling down inside the hive. Try to get my paper to lay somewhat flat. And I've got me a pitcher full of sugar. And as I pour the sugar in the hive, I'm going to add some water to it. Reason is I ran across this last year. I just put plain sugar in here and they carried it out the door, thought it was trash. So I'm going to wet it down to make it kind of like a cake. And I'm concerned about these bees in this hive, so I'm going to give them plenty. Go ahead and water that sugar down really well. But not enough that I got water dripping down in the hive. I don't want them to get chilled. Now also what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these bees in the hive. I don't want to bounce them off out here on the ground, because they might not be able to get back in there. And here goes. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put a feeder cover back on there. This is my feeder cover. It's got some holes in it. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to get 2 jars and put it on here to plug up the hole for now. And then maybe tomorrow or the next day when it warms up enough, I'll actually put some sugar water in there. Until I get my jars on there, I'm just going to go ahead and plug up that hole. Let them all go back in the entrance, because that's what they're doing. The ones I just banged off. And hopefully these bees will start using that sugar and they'll survive this last little push through February. That's when a lot of people lose their bees. It's just the last couple of weeks of February they starve to death. Now if these bees were all down in the frames, I wouldn't be too concerned, but they were up high and that concerns me. So I'll get to keep that sugar on there and get some sugar water on them later, maybe some honey go and get them living. I'm going to check some of my other hives. Okay, this is hive number 7 for me. Still February the 10th, about 4:30 in the afternoon. Now I pulled my metal lid off, and I've just made some metal lids to put on there, and it's soaking wet. Now it's been warm today, and the sun's been out, the wind's been blowing, been up to about 60, but that thing's got water running off of it. And there's water on top of the hive here. You got to figure out a fine balance. Now I'm pretty sure I don't have a bottom board in this thing to keep air from passing through it. So there should be plenty of air working this hive. Now this doesn't have a telescoping cover on it. It has a transportation cover. Alright, now this one's better. Just a few bees on the lid. And there's just a few bees right here. Nothing that really concerns me. Now, this is a deep and another deep, and I had this deep set up just for honey. And it's got 9 frames in it, and it's got the spacer. Yeah, it's only got 9 frames, and it's got a metal spacer track on the front and back. I don't like those, and I'm going to get away from them. I've got rid of just about every one of them, but there's still a couple out there. As soon as I can, this box is coming off and I'm taking those out. But these bees seem to be down in there working that pretty good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and grab me a little piece of paper. Kind of mosey some of them out of the way. Go ahead and get some water on this paper so it'll stay here. And I'm going to go ahead and give them some sugar since I got the door off, got the lid off. Well, I can get my newspaper to stay where I want it to. I'm not going to give them a whole lot. Now this sugar is already absorbing up the water out of the paper. And I'm not going to give them a whole lot. But oh, you know, one thing I was going to mention was I did put some small pieces of pollen patties in here about a month ago, and I was curious to see if they've even used them or not. And it appears they had. They're totally gone. So I'm pretty glad I did that. That might have saved that number 6 hive. I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, put a spacer on this one also. And put me a feeder lid with the holes in it. See, I try to brand all my stuff BLB. That's my dad's brand. He had an electric branding iron. And when he sold his farm, he was going to get rid of it. And I said, boy, I'll take it. So there's that. I'm going to go ahead and put the metal cover back on. It won't hurt to have those 2 holes just open. Go ahead and put their weight back on so the lid won't blow off. we'll see if that will make it through February also. Alright, this is hive number 8. I've already took my weights off, and there's my lid, and again, this thing is soaking wet. It's got water dripping off of it, but it's not going in the hive. It's going onto this transportation cover. I don't have another spacer with me for a feeder lid, but I can get it real quick. See if I can find a hole where I can get this thing open. Well, they got it glued down real good. And I know the bees are alive in here because I've been seeing them working. Well, these bees are kind of up high too. There's some up on top. And I'm trying to see if I can see some honey in there. And there's just so many bees, I can't tell. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this cover back on, and I'm going to jump on the four-wheeler and run up there and get me another extension top and another feeder top to put on these. Because these last 3 hives are the ones, actually the last 4 are the ones I'm concerned with. I got to pull another top. And I'm going to shut it down and be back in a minute. Okay, so this is hive number 8. I went on ahead and put a feeder top on it, put an extension on it, and I also put sugar water in there. And some of them are already working it. Don't think this hive really needed it, but it'll give them a little help to get over that late February hump. Okay. Again, a lot of this is just for my own notes. I just go ahead and post it for people so they can see what I do. I got a lot of weight on top of this, and you don't need that much weight. It's just I had the rocks laying here and I didn't want them on the ground while I was mowing, so I threw them on top of the hive. This is hive number 3, telescoping cover. We'll ease it off. Only a couple of bees on there. And there is a lot of bees right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get my stuff ready that I don't have ready. Get my piece of newspaper. Nothing fancy. Got everything on this side of the hive. I'm going to work it from this side. Ooh, that probably aggravated them. Let them wear my veil. Okay, now this hive has pollen patties still left on the inside. There's 3 little ones here. And that's a really good sign. And there is some bees up here, but they're not all over. So what I'm going to do is bring those bees. The bees are on this cover. I'm going to turn around, put them right there at the entrance, so if they want to bail off of there, they can. And I'm going to go ahead, shave this thing down pretty small, and just give them a little bit of sugar water here. That seems to be working pretty good, getting the paper wet to hold it on there, and then using the sugar to kind of soak back up some of that water. They don't seem to be starving too bad, so I'm pretty happy. Okay, this is hive number 4. Take a quick peek, see what it's doing. Again, it's got a transportation top on it. I seem to like these the best. They're just easy and they're quick to build. Okay, not a lot of, oh, see there's pollen patty still stuck to the lid, and the bees were here working it. So I'm going to knock those back off in the hive. because I don't want them stuck to this lid, because I'm going to take this lid off. Well, there's a couple of bees on the lid. Turn around, see if they'll jump off there. But these bees are kind of right here in the corner. See if I can pick you up and let you look at them. See, they're kind of there in the corner. They're not in the middle. All these other ones were in the middle. So that seems to make me think that there's honey on these frames over here and not on the others. But since this is my last one I'm going to open, I'm going to go ahead and pull the frame without bees on it and see what we got. There's not very many bees. This is my new hive tool with a hook on it. I've never used it. I might not like it. Might just need to figure out how to use it. Well, I'm pulling out like 8 frames when I'm doing that. So let's see here. See if we can break this one frame loose just to see what's going on. Because I'm just a curious beekeeper. It's kind of getting colder in the afternoon, so the bees are getting kind of antsy about getting the lid back on. I don't have my frame grabber with me. It's on the 4-wheeler, but we're going to see if we can break this dude out of here. Oh, okay, it's loose now. And there are some bees on it, but there's nothing on there. Oh, well, let me turn it around. There actually is capped honey right there. So they've got honey on this frame and on the next frame. And I would guess there's more honey down in there over on this side. So I bet you they're doing just fine. They should be able to make it through. But like I said, just cause. And again, I forgot my newspaper. Go ahead and move these pollen patties out of my way. Use my hive tool to hold that newspaper down there just a little bit. Pump up my cool sprayer that I bought for 50 cents at a garage sale, and they're about $15 at Walmart. I've always wanted one of these, just for seed starting and all kind of things like this. And I got that all wet. Kind of messed it up when I pulled my hive tool off, but we'll fix it. Well, that's good enough. Bees are going to eat that paper anyway. Bees usually eat that paper or carry it out the front door. They do something with it. Seems like you usually open up the hive in March and stuff to check the queen out, and all your newspapers are gone. Alright, well, bottom's wet, we'll wet the top. And there we go. So that's all the top feeder things that I have. I guess I could look at put some extensions on some of these other ones. Where's my feeder top? Here it is. Boy, it's tight fitting. It doesn't want to fit on these. Very, very good. I'm gonna have to use a hammer to get that one back off. Get a little persuading here with a weight. Well, I got my bees at my house. I'm going to start expanding out and putting bees on other property this summer. But for right now, I sure am happy I have them at my house. Now this lid, I don't see any moisture on it. I don't know what the difference is between those. I don't know. I'll have to think about that and re-look at my video so I can figure out why one had moisture and one didn't. I'm going to put my little rock back on there. My weights. And all this other junk that I don't want laying out in the yard, so I'm going to hit it with a mower. Check the bees on the lid, they're still on there. I'm gonna go ahead and shake them off right at the front door. I don't have another feeder lid, but I sure can put an extension on here and put some sugar on here if the bees absolutely need it. Telescoping top. Don't see any crazy moisture or mold. I do see bees. They don't have that glued down very well. And they still have pollen patties also. So I don't think I'm going to waste my time with sugar. They got pollen patty and they're working on it. So I'm not going to waste my time with putting sugar on these guys. I'm going to just leave them alone. Wasn't really concerned about that hive either way. So let's go up here and look at these other ones real quick. Now this is a monster hive that I got out of Doug Lively's backyard. I got a swarm out of his backyard and we had to catch it twice. We put it in here and this thing just took off like a fire. And I had it 4 or 5 boxes high this summer. And it's just really a strong hive. So we're going to call this hive number 2. Boy, they got the lid on there getting tight. Okay, now I'm going to bring you over here and let you see this. See what I'm talking about. Now this hive has a lot of bees in it. All the time. Here it is winter and look at them. All over the top. Is there honey down in there? Like I said, I don't know. And this is one of those top, this is just a 9 frame. This is a honey super. It's got those metal spacers. I don't know if you can see them, but they're metal spacers you buy, and these bees are mad because I got the cover off and it's getting dark. So this is a no-no, but I'm going to give them some sugar while I got the door open because I don't like it that they're all at the top. See if I can get them to move out of the way a little bit. Just give them a light little brushing with the newspaper. I'm going to quit messing with them because they're stinging the dog out of my gloves. Some of them are. I'll just squirt some of that on there, see if they'll go down in their hive. And work their way down in there. They are a little agitated. It might be because they're starving to death. I don't know. This hive produced a lot of honey last year. I'm going to go ahead and give them a pretty good load since there's so many bees in here. There's another one mad. Alright, tell you what, I'll go ahead. Oh, I don't have an extension, so I'm not going to mess with it. I'm just going to put this lid right back on there and see what happens in the next few days. Alright, this is my number 1 hive. Now this is the hive I know I got from LaRue. It is my oldest hive. It'll be 3 years this summer. Now this will be its 3rd summer. And they've always been a little bit grouchy ever since I got them. Maybe this summer I'll requeen them and see if it'll calm them down a little bit. But they're all at the top too. Bring you up here and let you see. There are bees all over the top. I wish they were down in there. And I wish I had some smoke. I'd smoke them down, but I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and give them some sugar water also. Let me grab some newspaper. I just been told that it's time to eat supper. My wife's been working on it for most of the day. I'm I put that water on there. It looks like most of those bees went down, but I'm going to do a little lift check on that paper and see. Make sure a whole bunch of them aren't stuck. Oh no, most of them went down in there. Just about out of sugar, but I'm going to go ahead and load these bees up. Okay, bees are fed. I wish I had a extension with me, but I don't. So I'll go ahead and slap this top on there. And I can feel that sugar. I'm just going to go ahead and work it down there just a little bit. There we go, we're done.